Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Heal, Lift, Rise. My name is Carla. Thank you all so very much for joining me here. Truly appreciate every single one of you, all of your love, support, and kindness to the channel. Welcome. If you are new to my channel, my name is Carla. I offer Reiki healing services. I'm a Reiki healer, and I also am a psychic intuitive. I also channel energy. I channel spirit. I channel messages. And I truly, honestly believe this is something anyone and everyone can do. I also have a daughter who channels messages from the angels, from her spirit guides, and she also receives visions, messages, and some of it has been prophetic. It has been something that she's like predicted future things, and it has come to be. This is a generational gift, as we could call it. Anyways, long story short, my daughter and I were recently talking a little bit about what occurred with Olivertree. The reason I brought it up to her was because something did not sit right with me with his death. Okay. And first and foremost, I want to just acknowledge the fact that I did not know, and I did not know who Olivertree was until his death. Okay. Never ever heard of him. I've never heard of him. And it's quite amazing that there are just artists and people, even people who are famous, that you could never have ever heard of. And, you know, when something happens to them, something occurs, and it kind of just gets, you know, thrown everywhere in the media, all over the place, and you come across it, and it kind of takes you by surprise, you know? His story was really interesting to me, you know, his death and everything surrounding his death. There were so many things that did not feel right to me, okay? And therefore, this is why I brought this up to my daughter, because, you know, my daughter also channels, receives messages, and we kind of were, if you will, having a conversation and going back and forth about information we received from our spirit team about his death. So for those of you that don't know who Olivertree is, or maybe you already do, he was a famous artist. He was known for his music. He was known for his quirkiness, his weirdness, that he embraced, I think this character that he created to showcase something different to the world. Because, this is also something that I came across when I was trying to figure out who he was. I came across an interview of him talking about how he didn't want to sell himself in a sexualized way. He didn't want to do what so many people and artists and, you know, do in the industry of selling themselves in, you know, provocative, sexualized way. He wanted to do something completely different, and he, I think, was trying to make the statement of kind of embracing and being who you are and loving who you are, and allowing, even if it's quirky and weird, it's still a beautiful thing. And his music was very deep. He had very deep like messages and I think hidden meanings in his music that he was trying to point people to. It's kind of funny how, you know, his look is kind of what drew people in, but his music was something that really spoke to you, or could speak to you. If you listen to his music, you listen to the lyrics and what the message is what's trying to be conveyed through his music. It's very smart, very smart, very creative in his, you know, the way he expressed himself, his artwork and everything. It's just very different, very amazing. And so I had talked with my daughter about this, about, you know, a little bit of backstory about what was going on, what I had heard, you know, had heard that he had passed away in a helicopter crash, and, you know, instantly his life was taken. So I had asked her, you know, about, you know, checking in with her spirit team. What does her spirit team say? about this. We both did this. And she got immediately when, asking this question, her spirit guides were saying it was more than just a helicopter crash. It's more than just a helicopter crash. There's more to the story. There's more to it than it just being a helicopter crash, which I found so interesting. Right then and there, I kind of felt like it was confirming that there's more than meets the eye. There was more than what we are being presented with, as far as the media and everything, what they're showcasing to us. So I thought that was very interesting. And next thing I know, she was getting a vision of a man in a construction worker outfit, and he was flipping the bird, doing the middle finger. And I don't know how YouTube works. I don't know if they would stop my video if I flip the bird, but basically it was like a side flipping the bird, flipping the bird this way, like a sideways. And she said the construction worker guy was just laughing. He was laughing and he was flipping the bird. Again, I felt this vision was connected to the message we had asked about what happened to Oliver Tree and his death. I totally believe that this was like him recreating himself, like him choosing to live in peace. I don't believe he actually died. I don't believe he died based on the information Spirit has given my daughter and Spirit has given me. When I was tuning into his energy and I was, kind of asking, like, where is he? Where is he at? The vision I got was mountains. I just saw mountains. So I definitely believe that he could be somewhere in the mountains of Brazil, somewhere in the mountains somewhere, because we don't know if he actually is staying in Brazil. We don't know. Nobody knows, right? But I don't believe he's dead. I don't believe that. I don't feel that. When I was connecting with his energy and like trying to connect to him, it's different, and it feels like it's definitely here on in this 3D world, physical plane. He's definitely here in the physical world. I do not believe he died. I do not believe he has crossed over. I did not get that vibe. I did not get that energy. And I know some of you might feel or believe that he really did die, and you have been grieving, or you have grieved his death, and it has made you very sad, kind of has opened up a lot of emotions for you. And I just want to say that I still honor that, and I want you to honor that and honor that expression of what it is causing you to feel, and allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling and experiencing at this time. And in some way, this this narrative around his death, in some way it is actually a truth, because he will probably never ever be seen in the US again. He may never come to the United States ever again. And most people probably won't see him ever again because of how he is choosing to live his life. And he also, I think, will be obviously recreating himself. He's not going to look the same. He's not going to be the same as he once was. So in some way, yes, this in an odd way, it's like a part of him died. It's the old version of him, and he is choosing to go on living his life in a different way, but that brings him more peace, and that brings him and more into alignment, because I do believe that he is definitely connected to his higher self. I definitely believe he's really in touch spiritually, like with his spirit. And I definitely believe that he's living in alignment with, he's wanting to move into living in alignment with his truth, with his authenticity. And the way he was living, at some point it served his journey, it served its perfect purpose, but he's no longer that same person, and he can no longer like live a lie and just do whatever he was doing, being the circus act for the circus, so to speak, because I think there's a lot of things that have kind of been coming to light about, you know, the music industry and things connected with his record label. And there's just a lot of things that have kind of gone on surrounding all of that that was not healthy for him and should have never been the way that it was, being orchestrated. It should have never been that way. So this is like him being free. This is like a death and rebirth for him, in a different way, in a whole new way. And I know for some people it can be kind of daunting, it can be kind of surprising to see and or understand from a different perspective that he's actually still in this world, and he actually has not crossed over. I think a lot of people don't want to believe that, but one of the things that I can encourage you and I can say with ultimate truth, and this is just, guidance and everything, advice that I'm going to give you, helping you to help yourself on your journey, is you can tune into energy. If you ever have questions about a story, about something you are receiving in this world, the media, whatever it is, any news outlet, anything that you are being fed, to just believe. This is where you can also use discernment, but also tune into the energy of what is being shared. And when you tune into that energy, you will discover the truth of what is actually true and what is false and what are lies. And the more you can get, good at tuning into energy, starting with yourself, tuning into your own energy, turning into what you feel, you can then tune into other people's energy and receive insight and information. Also, tuning into yourself, getting connected internally, getting connected with your spirit team, your spirit guides, you will receive information and insight. And again, this is something I believe everybody can do. Everybody in this world can access this. This isn't hidden information that you wouldn't be able to receive. This is you taking that initiative to tune into yourself, to get connected, because it starts with a connection, and you got to feed the connection. So tuning in, getting connected within, and then, allowing yourself to kind of experiment and feel energy. And it's another reason it got me kind of interested in when I was led to do channeling. It really was interesting because it's like this experiment with being in touch with the other side, which we think is so far away, but it's not. It's all existing. It's all here. It's all accessible. It was so interesting to me, and I still, find it so fascinating. But to move it, a step further, I started to realize how amazing it is to connect with spirit and to kind of give spirit a microphone to, give their guidance and wisdom, from source, where they, the other side of where they're at, other side of the veil, whatever you want to call it, back to source, back to love, back to light. It's really interesting to hear what they have to say and their perspective and how they are sharing this higher wisdom that is with us, always connected to us. But we're always so focused on, things that are insignificant that we don't actually tune into what actually matters and focusing on things that matter to actually help ourselves and help the world around us. It's really interesting, the information I've been able to receive and channel from amazing people that have crossed over. And this was kind of also, like I said, wondering about what had happened to him. His olivertree story was, really sad. And it's like, it's sad what they did to him, but also ultimately it's sad what the industry has done to so many artists. It's heartbreaking. It's just utterly heartbreaking to me. And I just truly feel for, you know, the families and friends, people that are connected to and have been connected to these artists and amazing people that have died at the hands of, you know, the industry, and, you know, people in the industry that for whatever reason just want to take somebody's life because they're worth more when they're gone. I felt like this was Oliver Tree's way of like saying, kind of like screw you to the ones that tried to take him out. Because like I said, I think the joke is on the other people. I don't believe the joke is on him because he escaped it. And I wish him all the best and all of the peace and love. And I know that he is protected and he will continue to have an amazing impact in this world, in a different way. And I think for him, having this experience of what he got to experience, of having it all and all these things, it wasn't what he thought it would be. And I think it led him to also realize the truth that that's not what makes somebody happy. And he was finding and discovering happiness within himself and connecting himself to spirit, to source. And he was a lot smarter than he portrayed, than the world believed him to be. He's a lot smarter. And like I said, I know he's in tune, I know he's connected. So it wouldn't surprise me if he became like a monk or something, or did something where he was just out, you know, meditating all the time and serving people in a different way, maybe teaching people, like all that stuff. But like I said, this is what I wanted to share because this is the insight that I received and also my daughter received about what we received about what actually, you know, happened. Like he didn't actually die. And so that in a lot of ways it brings me peace, you know, knowing that he's still here. But I know at the same time it is sad. People did lose their life in the helicopter crash. There are people that died. That the helicopter crash did happen, and people were on there, and yeah, they lost their lives. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing that these things are happening, just to take somebody out. I don't agree with it. And it's sad. It's heartbreaking. But yeah, I wanted to share this because I thought it was so interesting, you know, what we received, by the information we received about him. Like he's still here. And I think that will bring some people that come across this message a lot of peace, to know that he's still here, and we may never see him again. Obviously, I think that's something that is a fact, a face that we have to accept and face, is that we won't see him, but he's still here and he's going to make an impact wherever he is. And he got out of the system, and, you know, again, I think that's why my daughter saw that vision of the construction worker flipping the bird. And it was funny because she wasn't going to tell me the vision, because she said it was really explicit, and she goes, I don't want to share this and get in trouble, but this is what I'm seeing right now. And it made me laugh because I was like, you know, honestly, it's just it's almost like a funny joke, I feel like, for him getting out of this. And the joke's on, you know, the industry, the record label, or whoever was trying to take him out, basically. I don't want to point fingers, but whoever was, it's like the joke was on them or that person. But anyways, I wanted to share this message, and yeah, I hope in some way this gave you a different perspective, but also kind of made you think a little bit more, diving into energy and really connecting and tuning into energy. Because when you do that, answers can be revealed. So many answers can be revealed. This isn't about the experience, and we're not chasing experiences. This is about connecting. And when you can connect, you can receive information and insight that goes beyond physically what you're seeing, what goes beyond the surface. So there's always so much more going on than meets the eye. That's why you also hear that coined phrase, nothing is as it seems, or not everything is as it seems. It's a true thing, because there's so much more than what meets the eye. And we know this. We all know this to be true. I think also because we're able to connect with energy, and we just don't trust ourselves enough to understand that we are always tuning in and connecting with energy, even when we're unconscious of it. Just like when you walk into a room and it feels completely off, and you're like, why does it feel off? That person looking at me in the sideways view, it's just something's off. It's because we're always connecting to energy and what the energy is trying to, what message it's trying to send out to us. And if we're not meant to be in a certain place, or this, certain place isn't good for us, it's really good to listen to that and take note of that and say, okay, the energy feels off here, something feels not good, I need to leave. So, you trust yourself, you trust what you're receiving, and you leave. It's really, I think, about getting good at trusting yourself, trusting at the information you receive, based on what you're feeling, when you're feeling the energy, energetically. Anyways, until next time, my friends, take very good care. I love you all so very much. Bye for now.